So it's been made official that at this year's Royal Rumble, we will have Gunther versus AJ Styles, and if AJ Styles loses, AJ Styles' career is over. He has to retire. Now, it's already kind of sort of been announced that AJ Styles is retiring in 2026. We don't know when, but it could be as soon as the Royal Rumble. Let's back this whole thing up and go over the entire show now. Gunther opens up the show, coming out saying, I have beat AJ Styles, and I will go on and win the Royal Rumble. He officially declares that he is going to be part of the Royal Rumble, and just after that, he is interrupted by AJ Styles coming out saying, you did not beat me. I beat you. You tapped. Now, I want you at the Royal Rumble. And Gunther basically says, I've already beat you. There's no reason for me to go after you. I get nothing out of it. It just gives you another chance to beat me. So, at the Royal Rumble, I'm just going to go win the Royal Rumble, get a chance at whichever championship I want, and see you in my rear view, basically. And then, AJ Styles does the old babyface trick of, you won't face me unless you're scared. And then, Gunther, that kind of gets under Gunther's skin, I feel like just a little bit. And he comes back at AJ and is like, there is one thing I can gain out of beating you, but you would never agree to it. And that is, of course, like I said at the beginning, if you finish off your career once I beat you, that's it. You retire. AJ does not give an answer here, but Gunther does give him until the end of the night to give us his response. I, for one, am a huge fan of when people say, like, it's me versus you, but if you lose, you retire. That stuff's always been cool to me. I loved it when Shawn Michaels did it versus The Undertaker. We don't count anything that happened past that. When Shawn Michaels retired Ric Flair, we don't count anything that happened past that. But now we have some actual weight behind this match because, if AJ wins, we're all happy, we're all excited. We still get AJ for however long he wishes to stick in the game of professional wrestling. But if he loses, that's his last match ever versus Gunther at the Royal Rumble. He doesn't even get to have one last Royal Rumble, unless both of them are going to pull double duty that night, have their match, and then also be inside the Royal Rumble. That would be kind of crazy. The first match of the night, we have Becky Lynch versus Maxine Dupree for the Intercontinental Championship. But Maxine Dupree's got some help. She's got Natalya, the person who basically made Maxine into the wrestler she is now. This was an absolute fantastic match. I think it might be second or third best match of the night. I think there were only 3 or 4 matches in the entire night, so it might have been... all the matches were good. I'll just say that. All the matches were good. This one was very enjoyable. Maxine Dupree over these past few months has gotten so good in the ring that it's actually believable at this point, unlike when she first started. And I don't know if it's just me, but is the way she does a kip up weird? Like, she doesn't, hop up and then stand up. She does this, weird thing where she, I don't know, it looks like she's floating for a little bit. It's really weird. Like I said, though, this is an amazing match up until the very end where Maxine Dupree is about to win back the Intercontinental Championship, but they are just a little bit too close to the ropes, and Natalya turns on Maxine Dupree. Now, I'm assuming this is to bring, her Bloodsport character into WWE, and they're just, feeding Maxine Dupree to her for that, but I don't know. It kind of felt off and disjointed, and the fact that Maxine Dupree had Becky Lynch at the very end, and then they basically just both stand up. Becky gives her the manhandle slam, and then that's it. I don't know. I know the manhandle slam is supposed to be the most devastating move ever, but This did not feel right to me. This ending was dog water. And then, of course, afterwards, to make sure that we have solidified Natalya as a heel, she just beats the crap out of Maxine Dupree. She doesn't stop. I'm surprised security didn't come out, because this is Raw. Anytime people start bickering, Adam Pearce just has a whole horde of security coming out. They security, refs, extra wrestlers from the back that are just sitting at catering. I'm looking forward to seeing Natalya bring that Bloodsport character to WWE, if that's what they intend to do here. If not, you can miss me with that, Chief. We go to a backstage segment where Adam Pearce and AJ Styles are talking about the match versus Gunther. He basically tells him that, yes, we can make it happen, but once you're there and once it happens, there's no turning back. AJ Styles, he says he's going to go call his wife. They're going to talk about it. He's going to think it over, and he'll give him an answer by the end of the night. But right after that, Paul Heyman comes out, and later on tonight, we have a 6-man tag team match of Penta, Rey Mysterio, and Dragon Lee versus The Vision. And of course, Paul Heyman's going to be at ringside. Of course he's going to be there. Why wouldn't he be there? That's his faction that he's basically running. But Adam Pearce says, I'm going to be at ringside too, so don't try and pull anything sneaky while I'm there. Right after this, we find ourselves in the Judgment Day clubhouse, where we have Finn, Liv, and Roxanne just living it up. Liv and Roxanne are like best of friends now. Liv does explain that, like, hey, when you first joined the Judgment Day, I didn't really care for you, but now I can see we're all on the same page now. So they have basically solidified Roxanne as a main member of the Judgment Day, even though she has been part of the Judgment Day for like 6 months now, maybe a little longer. It is also here that we learn that Stephanie Vaquer is still injured, I guess. Like, I thought it was this, maybe she had like a rolled ankle, but she still isn't cleared to wrestle, which means we're not going to get a Women's World Championship match of Stephanie Vaquer and Raquel Rodriguez anytime soon, which really sucks. I know vacating the belt sucks, and you can't just keep doing it all the time, but there's a certain point where you just have to vacate it. You just have to let it go. You have to do a tournament or whatever to put the championship on somebody. Because I know I've been looking forward to Stephanie Vaquer versus Raquel Rodriguez, number 2 or 3. I think it's number 2. But the way Raquel has completely changed her character up is so much more interesting than she used to be. And Stephanie Vaquer was just starting to become like a mainstay character on Raw. And I felt like them clashing was perfect. Unfortunately, we won't be getting it for a while, but I think Raquel Rodriguez is still like number 1 contender for the championship. Finn looks at everybody, says, we're in Belfast, Ireland. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to be the hometown hero, and I'm bringing the World Heavyweight Championship to the Judgment Day. Jey Uso comes down from the crowd with his World Tag Team title in hand and announces to everybody that he will be entering the Royal Rumble, which leads us to a backstage segment where the New Day confront Adam Pearce about getting a tag team title shot, where Adam Pearce explains next week on Raw there will be a 4-way tag to see who is the number 1 contender for the Usos World Tag Team Championships. And I believe Jimmy is on like leave or something because he wasn't a part of the show. But I hope that we bring back some tag teams that we haven't seen for a while. I'm assuming Otis and Tozawa are going to be one of the teams. I think they said it, but I can't remember the teams. I think New Day, Otis and Tozawa, what is it? American Made? American Alpha? I think American Alpha is Otis and Tozawa, and American Made are the 2 brothers. And there was a 4th team that I can't remember right now. Anyways, I think the World Tag Team Championships are even a worse spot than the WWE Tag Team Championships, and that's saying a lot. Next on the card, we finally get The Vision versus Penta, Rey Mysterio, and Dragon Lee. And boy, was this a match. The crowd during this match was absolutely bonkers. This, I'm sorry to say, but this was the match of the night. Every single person got to shine. Even Adam Pearce, even Paul Heyman. That's how good this match was. Nearing the end of the match, you have Paul Heyman. He gets up on the ropes trying to distract the referee, but Adam Pearce is right there at ringside as well, so he hops on up too and is telling basically, Paul, get down, Paul, get down. Logan tosses brass knuckles to Austin Theory, which Adam Pearce catches, and he tells the ref, go stop him right now. And then, oh shoot, who gets the brass knuckles? I can't remember who grabbed the brass knuckles, but somebody gets the brass knuckles away from Theory. Some more shenanigans happen. Adam Pearce and Paul Heyman start fighting and everything. He tells Paul Heyman to get out of here, but he accidentally leaves the brass knuckles on the side of the ring as he's yelling at Paul Heyman to get out of here. And of all people, Rey Mysterio picks up the brass knuckles, punches Austin Theory in the face. I think Penta knocks out Logan Paul, then hits a Mexican destroyer on Austin Theory, I'm pretty sure, or it was a Penta driver, I can't remember. There was so much going on. And then hit the, 1, 2, 3, ding, 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 the Luchadors win. Right after the commercial break, we come back to the Vision coming down the hallway with Adam Pearce in tow. And, Paul Heyman's kind of threatening him again, saying like, hey, you put hands on my client once again. Of course, it wasn't Braun Breaker this time, because remember, Braun Breaker is suspended indefinitely. It was Austin Theory this time. And then Adam Pearce gets a phone call, and Paul Heyman tells him, I think you should pick that up. And he says it in kind of a threatening manner, to the point where Adam Pearce is like, are you threatening me? He's like, no, I would never threaten you. Anyways, this Vision Adam Pearce storyline, I think, is gonna go somewhere much bigger than we anticipated. I'm hoping it ends in Braun Breaker spearing Adam Pearce into 2 pieces. Next, Rio comes out, the team of Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, saying basically they're ready to put up their tag team championships against the Judgment Day. And oh, by the way, we're entering the Women's Royal Rumble. Then Judgment Day come out in the form of Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez, saying, hey, I hope you're ready to lose those titles, and how are you gonna both be in the Royal Rumble and win? That just can't happen. And then they say, we are entering the Women's Royal Rumble, and then Rhea Ripley comes back and says, well, how does that work? Both of you can't win, basically reiterating what they said. This segment was very weird, and I don't really understand why. I mean, I understand they wanted to say, like, all these women are going to be in the Royal Rumble, and to get ready for Saturday night's main event, because that's when the tag team titles are being put on. But then Raquel Rodriguez just comes out, they beat up Rio, move on to the next thing. Right after this, we have Bayley going a little stir crazy in her own mind, just talking to herself in the hallway. Lyra Valkyria comes up, basically says like, hey, I don't know if this whole tag team thing's working. I don't feel good about all this. And then Bayley's just like, what are you talking about? We're amazing. I love you. We're the greatest tag team of all time. We've got all of 2026 to become even better. And we're going to go in the Royal Rumble. And then Lyra's like, so you're okay if I win? And she's like, yeah, of course. And you're okay if I win. And then they're basically like, okay, cool. Awesome. I like the Bayley character that they're portraying, but this whole tag team dynamic seems so weird to me. This next match I was really looking forward to, because we're finally getting El Grande Americano versus Javon Evans, and they have a, pretty decent, it's a regular start to a match. We cut to commercial, we come back from commercial. Javon Evans is on the outside of the ring being attended to by doctors, and he is presumably injured, unfortunately, because I'm assuming they had a huge spot for him coming up in the Royal Rumble, probably make him one of the big stars. I'm not saying he would be one of the top 4 in the Royal Rumble, but I would assume would be going pretty far in the Royal Rumble. I hope Javon Evans is okay. Just get better, man, please. So it's official that Braun Breaker will be back on Raw. via the officiality of Adam Pearce and whatever that phone call was. Adam Pearce says it has nothing to do with the phone call. He just wants to be man-to-man with Braun Breaker and just try and make peace. Paul Heyman doesn't believe this one bit whatsoever, and once again, in a like sly way, kind of threatens Adam Pearce to not, mess with the Vision because they're kind of all-encompassing. And then right after this, AJ Styles comes up to Adam Pearce and says, I talked to my wife, and she wants me to go beat the crap out of Gunther, which is why it's official. It will be Gunther versus AJ Styles at the Royal Rumble. If AJ Styles loses, he has to retire. His career is over. One more segment before our main event. We have the Kabuki Warriors in the backstage area, and Kairi's kind of freaking out. Asuka's yelling at Kairi as usual. But something interesting happens here. They both say that they're going to be in the Royal Rumble because, of course. And Kairi says, I will do anything to make you win, Asuka. Anything. So we know if it's Kairi versus Asuka at the very end of the Royal Rumble, Asuka's winning because Kairi will probably just hop out of the ring. Hop. See you later. Now, I don't know if this means that they're going to do the normal thing and then just have them booked in the Royal Rumble to completely work together no matter what. Or is this where we're finally going to get a Kairi same turn and we're going to completely split up the Kabuki Warriors? I can't see that happening because the women's tag division is still thin. I don't feel like there's enough tag teams yet to have a full division to where you can take one out and then not feel the emptiness of it. Although it would be interesting to see the dynamic that Kairi and Asuka would have if they were butting heads. Finally, we move on to our main event, CM Punk versus Finn Bálor for the World Heavyweight Championship. Once again, the entire crowd was going absolutely insane. They started cheering CM Punk and, of course, singing his theme song, Cult of Personality. And then Finn Bálor comes out. Well, right before he comes out, they're doing that ole, 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 and they let them do it for a good 30 seconds. Finn Bálor comes out to his old entrance where he does the whole arm thing. Just lovely stuff to see. And as soon as we get to the announcements and they announce Finn Bálor, of course they're cheering him. He's the hometown hero. They want to see him win the World Heavyweight Championship. And then the crowd starts booing CM Punk. Everything has switched in this match. Finn Bálor is now the babyface, and CM Punk is the heel. Anything that Finn would do was getting cheered, and anything CM Punk would do was getting booed. This was such a fantastic crowd. I wish more crowds in the United States were like this crowd. Now, I will say, because of Drew McIntyre winning his championship on Friday Night SmackDown, there was no way Finn Bálor was ever going to win on Raw. And I'm sorry to say it, but it was a good match. Don't get me wrong. It was a very good match. But never once did I believe that Finn Bálor was going to defeat CM Punk and be our new World Heavyweight Champion. I just couldn't believe it. So I think for this week's Raw, I think this was an average Raw. I kind of would have liked more matches because there were a lot of just segments. Just, don't get me wrong, I like the Vision segments and everything, but the women's tag titles and everyone just saying hey, I'm declaring myself for the Rumble in a not interesting way was kind of boring to me. It's just we come out, I declare myself for the Royal Rumble. Okay, dude, cool. And so I think because of that, this is just an average Raw. I'm going to give it 3 stars out of 5. It wasn't bad. It wasn't the greatest thing ever. It was just a decent Raw, which is more than I can say for a lot of the previous weeks we've had. Anyways, go down in the comments below. Let me know what you liked or disliked about this Monday Night Raw. While you're down there, hit the like. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe. If you aren't subscribed, maybe hit the little notification bell so you can see every single time this channel uploads. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.